Stop scrolling. Stop. Yes, you. Before you spend another 1 cent, you better watch this video carefully. Because what if I told you that a simple, dirty, ugly-looking penny sitting in your pocket right now could be worth thousands, even millions of dollars? And guess what? Most people are still spending them like trash. This is not just a mistake. This is financial ignorance. Today, I'm exposing the top 2 most valuable United States pennies, including the legendary Lincoln Memorial Penny and the iconic wheat penny. Coins so rare, so powerful, that collectors are literally hunting them like gold. And there are shocking new rumors circulating that governments may restrict or pull rare coins from circulation by 2026. So listen carefully, because if you spend one of these, you might never forgive yourself. So let's get started. First up, we are diving deep into one of the most mysterious and talked about coins in American history, the 1943 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark, found in circulated condition. People ignore it, people spend it, but collectors, they hunt it like treasure. So before you spend another old coin, watch this carefully. Let's go back to the year 1943. The world was at war. The United States was heavily involved in World War II, and every bit of copper mattered. Copper was essential for making ammunition, military equipment, and communication wires. Because of this, the US Mint made a bold decision. They stopped using copper for pennies. Instead, they created pennies using zinc-coated steel. These coins looked completely different: silver in color, shiny, and magnetic. Millions upon millions were produced that year. But here, where things get interesting. Not every copper blank was removed from the minting machines. A few leftover bronze planchets from 1942 accidentally slipped into the presses. And when those were struck with the 1943 design, they created one of the rarest coins in US history, the 1943 bronze Lincoln wheat penny. Now, if your coin has no mint mark, that means it was struck in Philadelphia, which at the time did not use a mint mark. That alone doesn't make it rare. Most 1943 pennies without a mint mark are steel and very common. But if you ever find a 1943 penny that looks copper instead of steel, that's when your heart should start racing. Let's talk about the features. The front of the coin shows the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Above his head, you'll see the word Liberty. On the right side, the date, 1943. And below the date, you may or may not see a mint mark, but in this case, we're focusing on coins without one. The back of the coin features 2 wheat stalks on each side, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. At the top, the powerful phrase EPLURBUSUNUM, meaning out of many, one. Now here's something most people don't notice. The texture, the weight, and even the sound of the coin can reveal its identity. A steel penny will stick to a magnet, a rare bronze one will not. A steel penny weighs about 2.7 grams. A bronze one weighs about 3.11 grams. That tiny difference, it could mean the difference between 1 cent and over $100,000. Now let's talk rarity. Most 1943 steel pennies are extremely common. Even in circulated condition, they're usually worth just a few cents to maybe a couple of dollars. But the 1943 bronze penny, that's a completely different story. Only a handful are known to exist. Some estimates say fewer than 20 genuine examples from all mints combined. And when one appears at auction, collectors go wild. One famous example sold for over $1 million in pristine condition. Even in circulated condition, a genuine 1943 bronze penny can easily sell for tens of thousands of dollars. That's why condition matters so much. A circulated coin means it has been used in everyday transactions. It may have scratches, worn details, or discoloration. But when it comes to ultra-rare coins like this, even a worn example can still be extremely valuable. Collectors care about authenticity first. conditions second. And that's where the danger comes in. Because of the massive value, many fake 1943 copper pennies exist. Some are altered coins where people copperplate steel pennies. Others are 1948 pennies altered to look like 1943. So if you think you've found one, do not jump to conclusions. Get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. That small step could protect you from losing or misjudging a fortune. Now let's talk about collector demand. The 1943 penny represents a unique moment in history. It tells a story of war, sacrifice, and manufacturing change. That alone makes it collectible. But the era version, the bronze one, is legendary. Collectors love coins with stories, and this coin has one of the best stories ever. That's why demand remains extremely high. Serious collectors are always searching for one. Auctions attract global attention, and prices continue to climb whenever a genuine example appears. So what about the current market value? If you have a regular 1943 steel penny without a mint mark in circulated condition, you're likely looking at anywhere from 10 cents to $5 depending on condition. If it's in uncirculated condition, maybe $10 to $50. But if you somehow discover a genuine 1943 bronze penny in circulated condition, it could range from $50,000 to $250,000 or more depending on verification and detail. And in higher grades, the sky is the limit. Now let's get practical. What should collectors do? First, never assume a coin is worthless just because it looks old or worn. Second, always test a 1943 penny with a magnet. Third, weigh the coin if possible. Fourth, never clean the coin. Cleaning can destroy its value instantly. And finally, if something seems unusual, get it checked by professionals. Sometimes the biggest treasures are hiding in the most ordinary places. Old jars, drawers, inherited collections, even loose change. That's how many rare coins have been discovered. Not in museums, but in everyday life. And that brings us to the conclusion. The 1943 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark is more than just a coin. In most cases, it's a simple steel penny with small value. But in extremely rare cases, it becomes one of the most valuable coins in American history. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary comes down to a few grams of metal and a moment of history. So next time you see a 1943 penny, don't ignore it. Check it. Test it. Because you never know. That 1-cent coin in your hand could change everything. And that's exactly why collectors never stop looking. Next up, we are talking about the United States Lincoln Memorial Penny from 1993 with the D mint mark, a coin that most people ignore, most people damage, most people spend, but a coin that, under the right conditions, could be worth far more than anyone expects. And here's the shocking truth. Rumors, confusion, and misinformation are spreading everywhere. People are claiming these coins are being banned, that they are disappearing, that you should never spend them again. But what's real, what's hype, and what could actually make this coin valuable? Stay with me, because what you're about to hear might completely change how you look at every single penny in your pocket. To understand the 1993 D Lincoln Memorial Penny, you have to go back into history. The Lincoln cent itself was first introduced in 1909, becoming the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure, President Abraham Lincoln. Decades later, in 1959, the reverse design changed to the Lincoln Memorial, creating the version we are talking about today. By 1993, this coin was being produced in massive quantities, especially at the Denver Mint, which is why it carries the small D mint mark beneath the date. Over 6.4 billion of these coins were struck in Denver alone, making it one of the most common coins ever produced. But here, where things get interesting, just because something is common doesn't mean every single example is worthless. In fact, Sometimes the most common coins hide the rarest secrets. Now let's talk about the unique features of this coin, because this is where collectors begin to pay attention. The 1993 D Lincoln penny is made from a copper-plated zinc composition, 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper. This composition change, introduced in the 1980s, made coins cheaper to produce but also more vulnerable. These coins are notorious for corrosion, bubbling, and what collectors call zinc rot. That ugly, damaged condition you might see, that corrosion, that bubbling surface, that is exactly why high-quality versions of this coin are extremely rare. Most of them don't survive in perfect condition. And that is the twist. Sometimes an ugly coin is just damage, but sometimes it hides something much more important. Look closely at the front of the coin. You will see the profile of Abraham Lincoln facing right. Above his head are the words "In God We Trust." To the left, the word "Liberty." And just below the year 1993, you'll notice that tiny but powerful letter D. That single letter tells you this coin was minted in Denver, and it plays a big role in its identity. Now flip the coin to the reverse side. You'll see the Lincoln Memorial, detailed with columns, and if you look closely enough, even the tiny statue of Lincoln inside. Around it are the words United States of America, EPLUBUSUNUM, and at the bottom, 1 cent. This design was revolutionary because it was one of the first U.S. coins to feature a person on both sides, Lincoln's face on the front and his memorial on the back. Now let's talk about rarity, and this is where things get brutally honest. Most 1993 D pennies, especially in damaged or heavily worn condition, are only worth their face value, just 1 cent. Yes, even if they look old, even if they look strange, even if they are dirty or corroded, that does not automatically make them valuable. In fact, damage usually reduces value, not increases it. But here's the part people don't talk about enough. Rarity is not about age alone. It's about condition, errors, and uniqueness. A perfectly preserved 1993 D penny in near-perfect condition can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Some top-grade coins have sold for over $1,000, and in extreme cases, even higher depending on grading and demand. And if the coin has a rare mint error like a doubled die, a close AM variety, or even a mule error, its value can skyrocket into the tens of thousands. But here, where I need to be very clear, there is a dangerous myth spreading online. People are saying these coins are banned or that the government has stopped them and they will become instantly valuable. That is simply not true in the way it is being presented. While discussions about the future of the penny exist and production changes happen over time, the reality is this: most of these coins are still legal, still circulating, and still worth only 1 cent unless they have something special about them. Don't fall into hype. Don't get misled. Real value comes from rarity, condition, and collector demand. Now imagine this scenario. You have a 1993 D penny. It looks ugly, damaged, maybe even worthless. But what if that damage is actually a rare mint error? What if those strange marks are not scratches but a doubled die? What if the spacing in the word America is unusual, indicating a rare close AM variety? Coins like these have sold for anywhere from $50 to several $100s, depending on condition. And in extreme cases, rare minting mistakes like mule errors coins from this era have reached values of $50,000 or more. That's not hype, that's real auction history. So what should collectors do? First, stop underestimating your coins. Every coin deserves a closer look. Check the mint mark. Examine the surfaces. Look for doubling in the letters. Inspect the spacing in America. Pay attention to unusual weight, color, or texture. But also be realistic. Damage caused after the coin leaves the mint is not valuable. Scratches, dents, corrosion, and environmental damage usually reduce value. If you think you have something special, don't guess. Get it verified by a professional grading service. That is the difference between a 1-cent coin and a $1,000 discovery. And here's another important tip: condition is everything. A shiny, untouched coin that has never been circulated is far more valuable than a damaged one. In fact, the reason some 1993 D pennies sell for over $1,000 is because they are in near-perfect condition, something incredibly rare due to the fragile zinc composition. So instead of damaging your coins further, protect them, store them properly, avoid moisture, use coin holders. Because once a coin is damaged beyond repair, its collector value is gone forever. Think about this. Billions of these coins were made. Billions were spent, lost, ignored, and destroyed. But somewhere out there, hidden in jars, drawers, and old collections, a few rare pieces still exist. Coins with perfect surfaces, coins with rare errors, coins that collectors are willing to pay serious money for. The 1993 D. Lincoln Memorial penny is not automatically valuable, but it has the potential to be. And that potential is what makes coin collecting so powerful, so exciting, and sometimes so unpredictable. So before you spend your next penny, take a second look. That small, ordinary coin might just be ordinary, or it might be something much more. And in a world where people ignore small things, sometimes the smallest things carry the biggest surprises. If you found this video helpful, smash that like button, subscribe for more rare coin secrets, and comment below, "I found one." If you're checking your coins today, because trust me, the next millionaire coin might already be in your pocket.